Hi all, my name is Leticia Wiggins and I'll be teaching this course, Social Movements in U.S. History. That's History 2752. I actually am a product of Ohio State in a big way. I was an undergraduate and a graduate student here. During graduate school, I actually studied Chicano and Latino social movements in the Midwest during the 1970s. While studying these movements, I thought of social movements as the way that people try to find common ground and establish change, and how place, and particularly the Midwest, informed that relationship. So that led me to be particularly interested in this class. Trying to cover all social movement history in the United States is pretty impossible in a 7-week course. Honestly, it'd be even hard if we had all year together. That is why the course will focus predominantly on how different movements define freedom. We'll look at how these movements wax and wane, meaning how they gain and lose momentum, succeed or fail, and flirt with ideas of inclusivity. Specifically, we'll cover the labor movement, women's rights movements, movements by people of color, and also look to the roots of a lot of movements we see in the present day. This course will feature readings from 4 primary texts, weekly discussion boards, and weekly quizzes. So I wanted to introduce the texts to you and tell you a little bit about them. Firstly, we have a primary source reader. That's Howard Zinn's Voices from a People's History. You'll be reading the most from this text, which does, as it mentions, highlight voices directly from the various points in history that we'll be covering. Next, we have March, Book 1, and this will show us a different way of looking at history through graphic novel form. We'll follow John Lewis as he becomes involved with the civil rights movement. Third, we have Jennifer Nelson's work on the reproductive rights movement, and this will help us to understand how hard it is to organize in ways that speak to every aspect of a person's identity. There are gender politics, race politics, and sexual politics, and her work will help us understand these better. Finally, we'll end the course by wrapping up and moving into the present day. Ta-Nehisi Coates deals with issues from the past and the Black experience as a whole, and he brings it to the present day in this struggle between the world and me. In addition to these books, keep an eye out for readings that will be listed online, where we'll tackle issues confronting labor history, the Chicano rights movement, and other events. Check online each week for the assignment and reading instructions in the modules. 20% of your grade is discussion-based. These initial discussion posts will be due by Thursday at midnight. By Saturday, I'll expect secondary responses to be posted, and that's Saturday at midnight. So please look to the syllabus for more on discussion post requirements. There is no word limit, but please be sure that you address the prompt correctly. Try and have conversations in these realms. Part of the requirement is that you respond to someone else's comment for one of your responses. Simply saying, I agree with student X or student Y doesn't cut it. Multiple choice quizzes will be due every Saturday at midnight, and they will cover the readings and lectures for the week. The midterm project will include a few short essay questions along with an annotated bibliography section that will inform the final project. And the final project itself will ask you to develop your own social movement. That's right, create your own movement you want to champion. This is something that will take place in the modern day and is informed by what we've learned from history. The best practices of the past will inform your present action. More on both the midterm and the final later, and there'll be rubrics for these as well. I'll have 2 amazing historians who you may interact with as well. Mason and Sarah, I will let introduce themselves to each group. And a quick note on email etiquette to all of us. I will do my best to respond to you in 24 hours notice. Personally, I am happy to be addressed as Dr. Wiggins, Professor Wiggins, or simply Leticia. I am intent on not answering questions regarding due dates that are readily accessible on the syllabus. So if you're in doubt with these due dates, check the syllabus or the course website's calendar. I'm really excited to be here with you all and very much look forward to teaching this course, so welcome everybody.